So I read The Star's My Destination by Alfred Bester. This was terrible. I was so incredibly disappointed, not only because I love the SF Masterworks series and I love Golanx. Like we recently became book besties on here, so hi Golanx, if you see this, I still love you. Um, but yeah, not for me. Like sci-fi classic from the 50s, like when you frame it like that, when you frame it by the fact that there's literally a sci-fi award, I think, that's called the Alfies after Alfred Bester. So from one Alfie to another, so excited. And then, no, not really. Compared to all other genres, science fiction should be an exercise in imagination. It should push the envelope. It should make you, as the reader, rethink storytelling as a medium. You know what I mean? It should completely like blow your mind. That's good sci-fi. This this is just like a tacky recreation of the Count of Monte Cristo, but if it was like a space opera, a real sort of like boys will be boys space opera where our main character, he's such a lad, he's like fighting the bad guys, he's trying to get his vengeance. He's got like a side chick. It's very just like if this was the blueprint for Red Rising, which I've made my feelings on Red Rising very clear, would not be surprised because it's very like, and there's an intergalactic space war in the solar system between the Earth planets and the gas moons. Like a lot of that felt very Red Rising to me, and I hated it. Hated it. Our main character, Gully Foyle, bad name. I know I'm being harsh, but across the board, just nothing was working for me. That's a bad name. His like side chick her point, she was so like she was such an accessory to the story. Like she had no real purpose. Um, her name was Jizbel, but then the story kept referring to her as Jiz. That's a choice. Very strong authorial choice there. Like, is he in on the joke? Is it just gross humor? Like, why does he keep calling her Jiz? Couldn't tell you. And I can't deny that I'm coming to this review with a lot of bias because The Count of Monte Cristo is probably the single greatest thing I've ever read. It is the definition, it is a quintessential masterpiece. Like it's like one of those ornate clocks that you open up and you see all of the different cogs and how everything perfectly operates to make the machine. That's exactly what the Count of Monte Cristo is. Like everything is meticulous, everything is earned and makes sense. It is beautiful. Like Edmond Dante, you see like this bright 19-year-old who's about to be promoted. He's in love. Everything's going well for him, and then these people who are only sort of vaguely in his orbit completely betray him. Like they out of sheer jealousy and bitterness, he has to spend years and years in prison. And it's terrible, but it's effective. And this doesn't have the time for that. This is the Count of Monte Cristo is like over 1,000 pages. This clocks in at like 250. So he's in prison for all of one chapter. So there's no real sense of like, oh, you've been betrayed, you've been had, because like even then his main problem is that he was in this spaceship that crashed and then another spaceship went past and they could have saved him but they didn't, and it was just like, is that a good enough motivation for all this anger, all this vengeance? I'm not seeing it. There's frequently language and ideas in this book as well that have aged horribly, and a part of me was like, oh well, it was published in the 50s, but also just yikes. Like, can we not put some kind of like trigger warning to preface this book with, because it was gross in a different way to other things that were gross in this book. For example, one of our characters is a telepath who happens to be a black woman, but the story will not stop referring to her as the Negro woman. Okay. And it's always framed as if we're supposed to be like surprised, like this successful talented telepath is a black woman. Like the way it's sort of the expectation is put on us to be like, oh wow, like she's all of this and she's a black woman. And I was like, ooh, oh no. So if you couldn't tell, this is a no. I don't like this book. I don't recommend this book. I don't think this book is good. I probably won't read any more Alfred Bester. There were moments where the world building was impressive, but it wasn't cool enough that I was like, oh, this was worth the read, because it truly wasn't. Like it's too similar to something that is so like sacred, at least in my eyes. Like I would just read The Count of Monte Cristo. You know, that's always the tightrope of writing something that's either like a retelling or is clearly inspired by something else. If you get too close to it, then I, as the reader, have no reason to read this. I'm just going to read The Count of Monte Cristo. Something that I'm just realizing that we didn't even talk about as well is the jaunting. So in this world, they've mastered teleportation as a technology, and it's called jaunting. But the only reason I bring it up is because while I don't recommend this book, Stephen King has a short story in Skeleton Crew, I believe, called The Jaunt, which is it takes its inspiration from this. But unlike this book, where jaunting is very routine and it doesn't really explore it in any particularly interesting way, Stephen King explores it in a horrifyingly. Uh, it stays with you like it's a scary short story. Go read The Jaunt.